Hello, everybody. Hi, LinkedIn. Hi, YouTube. Hi, YouTube. And hi, Instagram. How y'all doing tonight? My name is William Davis. I'm the owner of A.P.C Photography, and I want to talk about my year in video. But first and foremost, I want to say thank you to the partnerships that I've had throughout the last half decade. That would be first and foremost with the Elite Collective and Carlos Amani. Thank you so much for all that we've had an opportunity to do together over the last 5 years. Since COVID decided to knock us in the back of the head, we were in the same sphere. I did corporate photography and high-end photography. You did events and you did photo booths and everything else, and was jumping into the black magics for the live streaming. And I was deciding what I was going to do since, well, COVID knocked us both out of the park. I mean, let's be real. We got knocked back quite a bit, and we built a partnership, and we're able to do some magic over the last half decade. So I just wanted to thank you right up front for all the things we've done, from doing photo shoots to switching to live streaming to then doing live events, then becoming the whole kid and caboodle and doing every aspect of the show, from sound, light, directing, allowing me to be a technical director, allowing me to be a video director, allowing me to be the audio engineer and production manager for the team. So thank you. Then this year, last 2 years now with Converge Media, I got a phone call back in 24, towards the end of 24. Someone found out I could do video. Don't know how they found out, but they found out I could do video. And the owner of Converge was like, are you open to do a couple videos for me? Got a couple projects need to be done for King County and a couple other places. And we started doing that there. And well, I've had the pleasure of being on some Emmy nominated things. I've had the pleasure of shooting for both major companies, local companies, sports all around here in the Pacific Northwest, and several other segments and shows that have been aired nationwide or have been just really a spectacular position. So thank you, Omari, for that right there too. These two partnerships have led to a lot of other great other partnerships down the road, from Venture Mechanics to working with FAST to working with UNCF, working with several other corporations that I've had great relationships with in the past and now in the present. But I wanted to start off this video completely being thankful for all the partnerships we have. Going into Christmas tomorrow, you always got to walk into the world thankful. It is literally 50 minutes here before Christmas. My son in New Jersey has already had Christmas start for him. And I just wanted to say thank you for all the people that have made it possible for A.P.C Photography, which I white labeled myself for almost 5 years, to earn the name and the reputation in the business that I earned in photography, because you've got to earn your stripes. And I want to thank those who gave me the opportunity to earn the stripes. Also, Stephen Diltz, who is with Promosa. You've given me many opportunities. Have always been great to me too. Christian over with Service Solutions. Love what you've done for us. Everyone over at Morgan Sound that have given me so many extras when we needed it, when we were doing the stuff at all these major shows, and didn't really know what the hell we were doing, but we were just coming out, and I knew most of the stuff, but some of the new digital stuff was just off the chain, and I needed to really step into that next level, and gotta thank you for all that you did there. And then all the other sponsors that stepped up for us and gave us opportunities, did partnerships. That would be Mackie. Thank you, Mackie, for what you've done. We have an audio system that we showed off and showcased in front of all of these other places that have now purchased those systems from Mackie. But we've given us an opportunity to compete with the big boys, and when we didn't have the budget for the big boys, we could bring the other stuff. So thank you so much, Mackie. OBS Bots. Thank you there. You definitely did a great sponsorship. Appreciate it. Matter of fact, that camera's being used right now, the Tail 2. If you are looking for a camera that is really light, really easy to use, it's just amazing. OBS Bot Tail 2. I'm really just have it like sitting down on the ground right here. I got a kitchen light on, and it's more than enough light to give me good resolution, and you can do 4K, you can do verticals, everything you can think of. Then I have to say thank you to Rode. Jesse Dean, brother man, the things you did for Converge Media, $5,000 worth of equipment to Converge Media through your team, so that when we did the mayor's debate, and when you look out there, you see Rode up there every single time with their microphones. Thank you. You didn't have to do that. I appreciate it. The Rode Wireless Pro that I'm talking through right now, thank you. For all of the other extras you've given me an opportunity to work with, thank you. So there we go. There was a long list of people I'm very thankful to. Now, this year in video was amazing. So I'm going to show you a couple photos here and there along the lines of the setups that I did and these different interviews and why they're really important to me. So let's kind of look at this over here real quick. Come on, transition. All right. First and foremost, I need to move this picture to the other side because it looks funny when I look over here. I need to look over there. First and foremost, I had an opportunity to work on a lot of cool different sets, and when you get to do that, it changes how you do things and where you do things. Give me just one moment here. I'm going to be moving this around. And I love working with the software I have. EVMux, Elad was really cool. So what he did is the first year that I had this service, he hooked me up with a really great deal on it. But this tells me I have to readjust all my scenes in this particular case. That's on me because I showcasing this in a specific way. All right. So when I was doing this scene here, when I was doing this video, it was really kind of important to me to make sure, and in both of these scenarios, I brought a really nice setup. First one was a 300-watt light. There's windows behind it, and she's speaking. There's our producer. In this particular case, I'm just a director of photography there, and it's just an absolute blast to do that. On the second one, to the right, that particular one there is one of my more favorite ones to do. How do I put this? Maybe I got this backwards. Hold on a second here. How do I put this? That was just a fun, total experience. We get to go to some of the theaters. We get to go to do stuff in places that no one else gets to. And I got to shoot there, and it was just an absolutely amazing experience to be able to shoot there. Reason being is just basically, we're in a theater, and this is in downtown Seattle. This is one of the SDG theaters, and I was able to set up a couple cameras, get ready to go. This is my FX30 on the rail kit, and the rail kit, do I have it here? No, I don't have it here. The rail kit allows me to put the 7-inch monitor right in the behind it, and you can look at it and be like, oh, okay. This is the setup that I like to use, and then the other one's the A7 IV. Both of these are absolutely amazing setups. They get the job done, and I can shoot in all eye, I can shoot in 4K 60, and the results are just phenomenal. And I really like being able to do that. It's one of the cool little setups that I get to play with and get to do all the time. Another one, which I think is just a great day I had, was this shoot here. And speaking of which, I got to do one quick thing on this shoot. Every once in a while you set up a screen and you think you got it set up right, and then you change how you're going to shoot that day. And so when you do that, what I really love about this software is I can actually make changes to the scene before I drop over. All right, so Pacific Northwest Ballet. Being able to shoot here was such an amazing experience. And now I got to thank Converge Media for this one here. I got to hear this gentleman's story from start to finish, talking about how he got into building ballets, what brought the music out of him, and it was amazing. Now, as you can see in this particular shot, I'm shooting against a window, which, let's be fair, a lot of people dread that. But it just came out gorgeous. I mean, they're sitting there together. You can see him a little bit, you know, giving that backlight is coming from the sun, and it's just a fun, phenomenal experience. Now, the setup for this, once again, is going to be the Sony A7 IV. It's going to be the FX30. It's going to be the Ninja Atomos, which I really, really enjoy using. I have a Connect there. No, those are both Ninja Vs. And those look great. I'm getting an echo here. Why am I getting an echo? That is weird. I shouldn't be getting an echo. That was weird. You ever check one of these things? Find out you get an echo when you shouldn't be? That is weird. Let's see how this is doing now. All right, so give me a moment here. I'm going to have to fix something because I shouldn't be having an echo here. Let's see if that fixed it. And I apologize for that echo because it really shouldn't be one. Nope, that didn't. That should not be happening. Yeah, we'll continue on with the stream. I'll get it fixed. Oh, I see what happened. All right. Forgive my craziness here on the stream. So let's continue on. The Pacific Northwest shot right here is one of my favorite shots. For the whole year, I thought this was, how do I put it? It's a moment for me. When you have an opportunity to see the people who have set the new bar and give an opportunity into what we do and how we do in theater and also, hey Nikki, how you doing, man? Hold on just a second. Nikki just did a comment here. Nikki, thank you for jumping in here. Nikki, if you missed the introduction, I'm thankful, I'm happy, I'm feeling great. And the reason for that whole piece is because I've had so many great partnerships this year and it's been spectacular. Thank you for joining us from YouTube. I appreciate you for being here as usual. I mean, this person's a heavy supporter. So looking at this shot here, this one really meant a lot to me. It was a challenge. I was by myself shooting where I should have two people with this. I got to hear him talk about all the amazing things that we did and what it was like for him to be alone and what it's like for him to do what he does and had to do the journey by himself at the beginning. It really changed the way that I saw my creativeness for this year. And this happened earlier in the year. This was like a February, March shot. I liked the fact that he brought up his past, his presence, and where he's going with the future. He allowed me to take his story and tell it. And he was raw. He really sat down and was absolutely raw in telling us what he was doing. And I don't know how to put this, but I don't think we would have had the plays we have now without him. We wouldn't have the presence we have now without him. And this is the part of what I get to do that's amazing, that I get to be part of these type of shoots and really find out what it's like to just sit back and observe. See, when you're a camera operator, when you're a producer, when you're a director of photography, you get something that no one else gets. Um, Let me pull up his exact name. His story was great, but I just don't remember his exact name, so please forgive me. Um, Pull up his story there. It was March. I'm no worse with names. I meet about 2,000 people a year, Nikki, so you have to forgive me. And I can remember him talking about his mother. I can remember him talking about the music he used to hear. I can remember him talking about being with the nunnery that was teaching him and being slapped on the hand and how that changed the way he reflected on the world. I can remember the stories of the trains, but I can't remember his first name. And it's one of the disadvantages of meeting so many people is that it's kind of hard to keep everybody's name together. But I remember the play. I remember how I was able to be there when they were practicing and taking the B-roll of it. And, you know, they are talking about they're showing them on the train, they're showing the transitions. He took his own life and put it into it. So forgive me, Nikki, I honestly can't remember his name. But I can tell you this much. Being able to shoot the shots I did with him, and if you look on here, you'll see the background, you'll see how he pops, you'll see how Trey Holiday is just sitting there with them. These are things that I get to do on a daily basis. Is phenomenal. Now, please forgive me also because I don't always remember. It's, you know, I do roughly 2 to 4 shoots a week. Certain pieces of certain shoots just grab my attention, but his story is what mattered the most to me because it really got me focused into really being in the moment of doing these shoots. Now, the other part, I think that was gotta be just off the chain about this was that I was able to go to B-roll and watch them do the play, how they practice it, how they prepare at the Pacific Northwest Ballet to give you the best experience. Now, that alone was an education to see the producer, to see the director, to see the writer, to see the production manager turn this whole thing into a show. And they allowed me to walk across this backstage and catch shots all over the place. Matter of fact, they even said, you know, I like how you're respectful to me, so we're going to give you extra locations you can go that we normally don't give the videographers to jump into. And had I not had the partnership, had not worked with the Elite Collective and Converge Media, that would have never happened. So for me, it was just an experience. Um, I don't know how to say this, but when you have those experiences, they just change you. They make you different. They really do. Because you're not always going to have the opportunity to have those great experiences. This next shot, oh my goodness, I remember doing this. When I pull this one up, some people are going to think, what's so hard about this shot? But I'm really going to show you what made this shot so difficult because this is not your normal everyday shot. And we were stuck in a really tight spot. So, Nikki, you asked me a couple questions in the past how to do certain shoots. Check this out. This was a project for King County. Don't know where it's going to go, so I can't get into too much detail about who this gentleman is, but it was a really great shot. When you are given opportunities to do this, you don't always get an opportunity to have a big room or big conference room to work with. Sometimes you just have an office. Now, if you look at this shot right here, this one was somewhat of a challenge. And the reason why it was somewhat of a challenge is because I did not have a whole lot of room to play with. And so what ended up happening is I had to somehow really elevate this shot with really nothing to work with. So if you take a look at this, where I zoomed in, here is this, and here's that depth in the room. If you look to his left, you will see I used that window as a way of adding more depth to the room. In the year in shooting, I got an opportunity to do so many shots like this that were difficult, that were trying, that were, how much can I push my skills out? How much can I elevate and show the different skill sets and help elevate this story? That was a ton of fun. It was absolutely a ton of fun. 85 millimeter? Nikki, no. I think I was using a zoom lens. That was at about 50 millimeters. 85 millimeter would have been a little bit tighter. Nikki, you brought up dynamic range. Yes, kind of. I'm going to go over this a little bit, but yes, it's impressive dynamic range. At the same time, it wasn't dynamic range that pulled that off. It was lighting and control. And I'm going to go over a video, I think it's next month, that I'm going to get into big details, but I'm going to tell you the quick order, Nikki, so you know. Always exposed to the furthest light source, to the way you want the furthest light source to look, and then fill in. Now, how you do that and what you do and ways to do it and where you don't have light messing with you, yeah, that's the challenge. Because remember, I got a light in front of a window, so how did I pull this off without having the reflections? There's a couple other things we're going to go over on our courses that are going to be ready in June and July. But yeah, it was a fun shot. I was in a really, really tight location right there. Let's see, what's the next one I got here? Once again, I'm having to do some small adjustments to my scene because I normally look the other way, but I switched monitors, so I'm going to have to change these scenes around. It takes like 30 seconds. And yes, I'm changing these scenes on the fly because I like the challenge. Okay. There we go. Boom. Now this one was my challenging scene. Nikki, if you're still on, take a look at where I had to shoot this from. So that bottom one right there shows you sometimes you're put in the worst possible positions, not because they wanted to put you in the worst possible position, it's what they had available. The whole room was filled. This was a great conference. Mayor Bruce Harrell was speaking there. Once again, these are things you don't always get to do. GSBA was there. I interviewed, I think, a total of 20 people over 2 days, which means I was putting some work in there. And it turned out awesome, but you're still stuck with like, how do I make this work? What am I going to do to make this really, really pop? So, for example, in this particular scenario, I was really at a loss of what to do because if you look at this, let me get rid of this one, get rid of this one, pull this up for you. Nikki, take a look at this. That's my starting point. Just so you know, that's my starting point. I have a window and a TV in a corner of a room. I had to take a couple easels and put them up on the windows. That's my starting point. Let me show you the end to this. Let me show you how this actually worked out. And some of this, once again, has to do, yes, tight, but also nowhere to really put depth on the person. Think about that. I have 1.5 feet from the window to work with. So it's more than tight. It's super tight. So I'm at, instead of, and then there wasn't a whole lot of like sunlight. If it was a blue sky or something, it would have been so much better. But there wasn't. So I had to somehow fake it till you make it, use the buildings themselves as a way to like really jump this scene and make them jump out, and use the signage that was sitting on the table that I got permission to grab from the table to fix that. And how I did that, oh my goodness. So how that worked was I had to really like change out everything. And the end result ended up looking like, let me get this in here for us. All right, I'm going to have to move. All right, there we go. You are which one piece? Right there. Okay. And okay. Do, 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 do. All right, take a look at this. This was the end result. Look at that window shot there. The window gives us the depth. Like I said, sometimes you got to fake it till you make it. There's no TV, so I hit the TV from it. So as you can see, there's the wall. There's the corner there. So as you can see there, that corner is really tight. Let me switch this shot one more time. I'm right in that corner there. So you see that TV monitor? I got less than 9 inches to work with right there. And then if you look at this, it's not seen. So the TV's not seen. I've made it look bigger than it's supposed to look. That was at about 40 millimeters as a shot. So I had enough depth, and then I had to, I had to really corner in that shot. And it took a little bit, but we pulled it off. So those are some of the challenges I had this year, and they were such fun. When I say a ton of fun, they were ultimately a lot of fun. And once again, I thank everybody who decides to come on the lives. Nikki, I appreciate you for all the comments you do. If you have any questions on how to do these shots, I'll answer as best I can. At this point here, like 30 minutes into this, and this is question and answer time, so you got like 5-10 minutes to ask me anything you want to ask, either from the cameras used, how I would set up the angles, all the rest. I'm all yours. Let's see. Thank you. I appreciate the compliment. Nikki's always one to throw out and ask questions, and I appreciate Nikki every single time. Do you have any questions on how to do any of this stuff? I mean, those are not the most commonly done types of shots. Most people are putting up like ND films and other stuff, and I don't do that. VND films, I use the camera tools and I use the lighting around me. So, any questions, I'll answer them. It looks like I've had a couple viewers tonight. And I know it's Christmas Eve, so I didn't expect to see a whole lot of people on here. But you know what? It's cool that you're here to watch the live with me, Nikki. If you want to share these anytime, that'd be really cool. Oh, yeah, absolutely. I use LUTs all the time. The one I use right now is basically a derivative of, hold on, let me put your comment up. Do I use any LUTs? Yes, absolutely. I actually put the LUTs into my monitors. So to get that look, I use a, what was it? Sony S-Log3 Cine 3, but the version I have is their negative 709. And the reason why I use a negative 709 is so you can draw back more of the highlights. So even in the overexposure, you draw back the highlights better. So if you go into Rec 709, so if you go S-Log3 into Rec 709 through DaVinci Resolve, if you just draw back the lumens, you will bring back an image that looks fairly close to cinema level. I use two particular monitors. Actually, three. Take that back. I use three. I use the Atomos Ninja V's, and I use the Atomos Shogun Connect 7-inch monitor. So those are the two that I use that are actual monitor brands. And my third monitor I use is this. The reason why I use a cell phone is because, which I'll be doing a video on this one either next week or the week after, Sony gives you all of the tools in an app that you don't even get all the way on the Ninja Atomos, which includes false color, all of your anamorphic D-squeezes, your focus mapping, live streaming capability, just a ton of stuff through the monitor control app. And you can run one camera off this. You can run 4 cameras off of an iPad, or you can run up to 20 cameras off of an iPad if you pay for the licensing, which allows you to run 20 cameras at once, which is insane when it comes from Sony. Sony didn't update much on the sensors and stuff except for the new A7 V this last year. Well, what they did do is they upgraded the app for Apple and for Android that sets it so far apart from everybody else camera-wise and across this brand and capabilities that I would never, ever go to another manufacturer. Yeah, it is insane. It's absolutely insane to sit down with like a phone or an iPad. You're looking at the person you're interviewing and you can pull up your notes after you set up your cameras, go back to your cameras, hit record, and you're done. Now, not just record, you do your time code and you can sync your cameras all the way across there, plus see the LUTs on this. And since a lot of the iPads are perfect monitors for like color-wise, they're DCP3, man, that's just absolutely insane. Canon does have a similar type app, but you have to buy their C series camera, which is their cinema line. So it'll be C50, C70, C80, C100, 200, 400. But to be able to get that starting at even like an A7 IV or a ZVE Mark 10 Mark II, starting at $1,100 camera, having all those capabilities, it's absolutely insane. I love it. It's the reason why I'm stuck with Sony, because it just happened to have all the cool tools. Any other questions there? Do you have any questions on the lighting? Do you have any questions on anything like that? I'll give you a couple freebies right now on how to light that scene, you know, what to look for and how to get it lit the right way. 1 light or 2 lights. I've got about 3 more minutes. Nope. He says no. No more questions. All right. Sure what? Not sure what sure means. Because I got nope and then I got sure. So yeah, I got some lighting tips. So number 1, always have at least a 300 watt light with you. 600 is best, or for like if it's a solo group, solo person, solo team, 300 minimum. And light box with double diffuses. Those are 2 things that are really, really important. Let me pull that shot up so you can see what I'm talking about. Where did I put you at? Nope, nope. Is that it? Yep. All right, here we go. So here's my setup. I've got 2 soft boxes. And when I'm running 2 cameras, I do a key light off that camera. So key light off of cam 1 and key light off cam 2. That allows also your fill to be right, because if you're running 2 cameras, you're going to need 2 key lights, in my opinion. Or you have to make sure that both cameras are pretty much side by side and they're running out the same key light. So you can have a straight on and then a little bit to the side of it, one wide and tight. But this one, we were doing a wide look and a perspective look. So it's a little different setup. Really makes for, especially when you're in a corner like that, allows you to really focus on storytelling. But yeah, those 2 lights there. Now you see the window there where it's kind of grayish outside and stuff like that? That was my 3rd light. So that would be my rim light. My rim light and my hair light. So both the rim and the hair light was coming from the sun. So it's always good if you're stuck in a corner by a window, treat a window like it's a rim light and you're gonna get some amazing shots out of it. And it's gonna look like this. That's why it looks like he's separated and well put together, because I utilize natural light as a rim light. Now, not everyone will tell you about how to do that because, frankly put, it's not a normal technique. You had to come from photography to know how to do that. And it's not a very common videography thing to be taught right up front. It's not to say that people can't do it. It's just not the norm per se. So those two lights there were 300-watt lights. Do a great job. And they're not expensive too. GVM makes great lights. Aperture makes great lights. Amaran makes great lights. But always think about a rim light and a hair light, and always think about a key light and how the key lights will work together too, because in this particular case, one key light's high, one key light is lower, but if you notice the light blend is really good, is because one is being used with a parabolic, and a parabolic light kind of shoots it straight down, and then the other one is more of a wide angle shot, so it's an octagon, so it's going to spread the light a little bit further out to the sides. Did that help at all? Because I've rambled there for a moment. So if there's any, did I miss something, or did I just ramble too much? But this is one where I would actually take time and walk you through every aspect of like, oh wait, dang it, I didn't transition over. See, but this is what happens when you're tired and you're producing your own show in the middle of the night and you've got scenes and you're adjusting them. All right, so everything I said will make sense now that you look at this. Yes. 300 minimum. Yes, absolutely. These two lights are 300-watt lights, and yes, you'll absolutely want to use 300-watt lights. Couple reasons why. You need to be able to outpower the sun. Rhythm. All right, so his question is, when is the best time to cut between shots? It's based on the rhythm of how they talk, how they use their body language, and the point they're talking about. And you kind of put all three of those together, because when you talk to somebody, there is a rhythm to how they move, how they speak, how they use their hand language. And it's good to have a good 5 or 10 minute conversation with them before you shoot to kind of get a feel for that. And sometimes it takes a while to look at a wide shot of what you were shot and see how their body language is. And if their body language gives you a point where they have pauses, where they have transitions into how and when they speak, those are the times that you would do your transitions. Now, if you're stuck with a single shot and your deliverables are in 1080p or HD, and you can shoot in 4K, that's when you actually start doing, you take the shot and you crop in as a transition. Sometimes you use, like DaVinci Resolve has tools to where you can actually cause it to look like it zoomed in and zoomed out. Those are the things you want to actually do to cause changes in the conversation, especially if you don't have B-roll. On B-roll side of it, it's best to have your B-roll match up with what they're saying and decide if you want them to be in the middle, in the front, or the rear of the conversation in relations to the B-roll. And that means you're going to rotate through your B-roll a couple times, but when you end your B-roll, will it be ending on him being before it or after it? That's basically how that's going to go. So let's just say you start with a B-roll, you got him, then you got some more B-roll. Will you end it there as the transition point, or will you add him in again? And that's where you're gonna make your decisions on where you're gonna go. And then will you do a cut to a different angle as they're going through that? Will you bring in more emphasis when you bring him in closer using your close-up shot, or will you open it up to where people feel like this is a more friendly, open environment? And as you can see right here, I'm allowing him to talk with his hands, being a more open environment versus it's a tight on his face. But the other one was tight on his face, but it was an off angle and he had a Rembrandt light. So it's actually really cool. It's just a matter of how you want to do it. Any other questions? By the way, these are all great questions tonight. You're asking some great ones. I'm willing to answer anything you got. I got another 5 minutes of energy in me before this green tea says it's not enough and I gotta go. Yes. I love B-roll too, man. It tells the whole story. I gotta tell you, let me tell you a funny story. I was shooting an interview with Bruce Harrell, and for some reason, you're welcome. You're absolutely welcome. For some reason, when I hit record, I must have double tapped it or something. So the first part of the interview, like the meat and potatoes of it for 4 minutes, did not record video, and that happens. Just dumbness happens, and this rarely does. But for some reason, I should have had an assistant that night. I'm doing way too many things. I got way too many things hitting me, but I always have a audio record backup and stuff like that. So I was like, oh, I mean, I'm 2 minutes into it, and I noticed I hit the corner of my eyes because I'm actually asking him all the questions. All of a sudden, I realized, it's not recording. So I was like, we got to start again. So I got meat and potatoes, really good stuff, that ended up being in the video versus the second interview, which was only like a 1 minute, just hit me with a quick, this is what I'm going to do, and that's it. Bruce never let me live this down. This was like the third time I interviewed him, and he never let me down because I did like 7 other interviews with Bruce Harrell, and man, he just kept, oh, you hit record? I'm like, yes, I did, I got it. But the Rode Wireless Pros have internal recording, so I got all the audio. There was no question of that. That's one thing, like I tell everybody, the reason why I choose the Rode Wireless Pros is because their recording on this is 32-bit float. It has 40 hours of record time, and you will never know when you're going to miss that one perfect shot or one perfect moment or something happens. It's always best to have a recording, and this is what saved my tail. And so the B-roll from that event went over what he was saying, and then that last little bit he gave me, that 1 minute like blurb, that was an ending point. So it was really cool. But yeah, B-roll is the stuff. All right, Nikki, any other questions, my brother? Any other questions, Nikki? Because I got about 2 minutes left before I say, hey, thank y'all for watching, and I'm taking off. So I would love to hear any of those questions that you may happen to have. All right. Let's see. Any questions? All right, so we're down to our last 2 minutes, so sales pitch time. If you're looking for someone to produce your shows, if you're looking to do a live show, if you're looking to do something that is produced with real scenes versus doing something that's kind of a, what do they call it, podcast style, which I still do that too. That's going to be on the Riverside things. If you're really looking for like the way to have your show set up, we're doing a special offer right now. We do them from small, medium, large, or really light production. So we give you options on all of those. If you like, we have an option for every aspect and every way you can think of going. We're doing 15% off if you sign up for the whole year. We're doing 10% off if you sign up for half a year, and 5% off if you sign up for a quarter. These are all prepaid bookings, minimum 2 bookings per month on those bookings, and you will get scenes built the way you want them, the way that works best for you. We will be able to produce them remotely, bring in guests, be able to do anything you need to do to turn your show and your information out to everybody. We can do multicast streamings like we're doing tonight, so multi-platform, and we can also broadcast. For example, tonight I'm on LinkedIn, I'm on YouTube, and I'm on Instagram. All of those are going at exactly the same time, and I have a live going everywhere. I'm able to verify all of them, and I'm able to produce, and you have options for co-hosting too for your team members and your marketing team that may want to jump in. That being said, I want everybody to have an amazing rest of the year. For those, I probably won't see a lot of you until January, the first week of January. Um, to Nikki, thank you for always jumping in and throwing in questions, and it's always a pleasure. I wish you the best success with yours this year. It sounds like you've kind of got a path you want to go, and you have some questions. Oh, hold up. Hold up. Right when I'm doing the end pitch, I get the real question. All right. The answer is absolutely. Absolutely. So, how deep do you want me to go into these cameras? Because there's going to be a lot of different cameras that are going to be brought into the spectrum this year. But I'll give you the gist of it. All right. Here's the gist of it. I'm going to be most likely buying the most hated camera on the planet. I'm going to end up probably getting 3 FX2s. That's for the interview set because I just happen to like the FX2s. They're just a really nice, solid workhorse camera that I can run for 8 to 12 hours a day, and they won't die. I'm also deciding between 2 for cinema cameras. One of them is the Komodos, so I'm not sure if I want to go with the Komodo X or if I'm going to go with the Blackmagic 12Ks. And I'm leaning towards the 12Ks because of a couple extra features and the fact they can go into the networking system I'm working on right now, which will be the P2110. If you have not worked with P2110, you won't know exactly what I'm talking about, but P2110 is a protocol that is coming up real soon. If you're in broadcasting and live streaming, it's been out for a while, but Blackmagic has done a full integration system with it, and that's what I'm looking at. Hold on. That's a great question. Uh, on the red Z mount. Oh, Z mount. That's the only mount to get is Z mount. You open up the whole entire E mount spectrum. Period. You get the whole spectrum of Sony lenses. So my G Masters work, my Zeiss Batiste work. I'll be getting some more of those again this year. I sold mine, but I'll get them back again. Um, Anything that's in the E mount will work on that. That's just going to be absolutely phenomenal. I've played with the new ZR, and I'm not getting that. My buddy got the ZR, and I think it's a great camera, but there's a couple of little flaws in it and a couple like control pieces I just don't like about it. So I'm just not going to get that. So I'm going to go with the red instead and get the full codecs. Nikki, what was the next thing you said? Yes, yes. For podcast studios, if you're going to buy anything, iHeartMedia buys the ZV series cameras and send those out to their talent. But the FX2s allow you to do 4K 60 in recording in studio to get the highest fidelity in an all eye and still transmit the HD signal that they want for the live stream or for recording into their podcasting system. And that is one of the things that really is phenomenal. And in 4K 60, the rolling shutter is exactly the same as the FX30s, which is 15 milliseconds. So people who are moving around aren't going to be looking all jello or stuttery. So it's really, really nice. That is the reason why I'm going with the FX2s. They did some other improvements to them too. You also get the ability to run those on the iPads better, and their heat management is unbelievable. You can run them in a hot room, you can run them outside, you can put big lenses on them. It's just the way to go. Oh, you ain't the only one. Hold up. So Nikki says I hate the design of the ZR. You ain't the only one. I got to tell you right now, the ZR just didn't feel right. I had to actually stop the review on the ZR because of my fears of destroying the sensor in the ZR. Because when you move it around, it literally clinks around in there. You can read about and hear about this from other people. that was just like, no. 'Cause I remember when Sony first did their in-body stabilization for their sensors, and from shipping them and doing stuff with them, there was a lot of photographers who their system broke due to how loosey goosey it was in there, and it just reminds me of that. And it's just going to be the same disaster. 6 months to a year down the road, that system will break because that sensor is jumping around so much. That's one of the things I hate about the design. The other thing I hate about the design is and I don't hate it, I just find that it's not utilitarian for me. The screen is beautiful, but having to touch the screen for everything in the middle of a shoot is not my favorite thing in the world to do, especially when I'm used to having like 10 buttons to play around with and move and get everything and to get everything to work the way I want it to work. So that is probably one of the two things that made me a little like, eh. As for like the aesthetics of it, if I wanted a handle that was a little bit bigger, I literally could do like I did with my 100RX, or was just bought a cage with the bigger handle so it had a grip. That didn't bother me. I want to be caging it up anyway, and the same thing goes for the ergonomics of um, an Atomos. For a red, I'm still going to be in a box, so I'm going to put a cage around it. When it comes to the Blackmagic 12K, it's probably the same thing. I'm still deciding between those two anyway, because those are, it's going to be $6,000 a camera. So either which way this goes, I'm going to spend about $6,000 a camera. So am I either going to go red, or am I going to go 12K? And I kind of am leaning towards the 12K because I got way more resolution options. I'm going to get the ProRes RAW in there, which is one of my favorite things. Oh, hold on. Nikki's saying, hope for a Lumix release, the BS 1H2. That's a camera I hope fixes the problem of the S12s. I hope they give you an open gate that is an all intra 422 10-bit in that camera. You deserve it. It's, if they give you that, Lumix is now heads up, and Panasonic has gotten back into where they are one of the top ones to buy if you want to get out of the top three and you still want to compete at the same level. Hold on just a second. I got two comments here. Red is the best choice. It's close. There's a small little divide that, because of some of the stuff that I do on the broadcasting side, the 12K may win this out. If I wasn't doing broadcasting, I was just doing commercials, yes, the red would be the downhill winner. But because I'm also doing commercials and I'm doing broadcasting, it's where I'm kind of leaning towards the Blackmagic. So welcome to the Life of. How you doing there? Thank you for commenting. You are commenting off of YouTube. Thank you for jumping in from YouTube. How much budget is the question? Vlogs and photos. Okay, gotcha. Do you want to have the ability to use off-camera flash, or do you care? Because that will change the answer to this question. So, and do you want it to be able to expand and do more down the road and give you commercial level video? Those are a couple of things that are important before I answer this question, because it's really going to make a huge difference in the answer. Oh, that's easy. If you're willing to jump up about $200 more, $500 your budget, I'm going to recommend you go up $200 more in budget, and I'm going to tell you to get the Canon V50 Mark II. That's going to be your best starter camera at the $500 range. And had this been a year ago, I would have told you to get the ZV-E10 Mark I. But because Canon came out with this camera and it has a few other features that these, ooh, that's the fixed lens one. If I remember, 35 millimeter fixed lens. I don't recommend, or it's a Super 35 fixed lens. I always recommend having the ability to switch your lenses around and expand your capabilities. That's a great one. The Sony ZV-1F. I always recommend having the ability to switch lenses. Being able to switch your lenses out to whatever lens you want it to be is super important as you grow, because almost all these camera bodies can put out a really good image, especially if it's going to be like vlog style. Just about every camera out there is going to give you the extra image. It's going to be about lenses, and being able to switch your lenses out from, say, like this is an 18 to 105 power zoom lens. That one of the great things about using the Sony. I have that option, but I've also got a G Master sitting on one of the cameras and a G lens on the other camera. Being able to switch those lenses out allows you to have better look. You know, if you got that same camera and then you ended up with like a Canon L lens that's like 11 millimeters, it's just going to look so good. Or if you went with a Sony ZV-10 Mark II, if you didn't mind going up to $1,100 budget, then you can get your hands on some of these lenses and you're just going to be knocking it out of the park. It's really going to be kind of up to you. But if you like that camera, get it. Get it. I would always say go try it out and see if they'll let you do a quick shoot around the building with them and have someone walk with you, or do a little vlog inside their building if you finally use one, and go with that. That's why I always say, give yourself an opportunity. Any other questions along the boards here? I'm always open to any questions you have. So the $500 budget is a tight budget. You're going to most likely get a used camera. If you can stretch a little bit, 700 is really the budget now to get you started, and it's the Canon. It's going to be a tie between the Canon, this one here, the V52, or the Sony ZV-E10 Mark I. Either one of those cameras are going to be great starter cameras for doing your video career. I think the only advantage that the ZV-10 Mark I has, let me check the specs on this real quick. Does it have S-Log3? Give me a second here. Please forgive me, I'm just looking up some stuff here real quick. So, picture profiles. Yeah, 1 through 10. Ooh. Let me check if it's got it. Okay, cool. There's an easy answer for you. If you are looking at these cameras, the ZV-E10 Mark II, that one has S-Log3, and that's going to give you the advantage over the Canon because the Canon has S-Log2, so you're going to have higher dynamic range. I want to mute my mic for a moment because my wife is calling. Always got an answer from my wife. A6300. Yes. Yes. Thank you for looking that up, Nikki. Yes. The A6300 is an amazing camera. And for the money, it's a really good one. But if you're looking at some of the video options, I would jump over to the ZV-E10 Mark II, Mark I. Something like, I don't quite get the comment, but I'll go with it. Works for me. We're at 1 hour, so I'm gonna call this abrupt end because it's been an hour. I've had fun talking with all of y'all. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you for watching the live stream. You didn't have to. There's gonna be a 10-second counter, so you can say anything you want during that 10 seconds, and then I'm gonna be calling it a day. So thank you for showing up and being here. I really do appreciate everybody who showed up and commented.